All right, so this is the statement of Officer Blaker in support of the search warrant for the state of Washington in and for the county of Whitman. Comes now the state of Washington by and through Dennis Tracy, Whitman County prosecuting attorney, and moves the court for an order to unseal the return of service of search warrant numbered SW numbered 12-29-2022A pursuant to GR 15. Basis: these warrants were issued and served in Washington state because a suspect in the crimes resided and worked here during the time of the crime. These warrants and associated applications were sealed due to the sensitive nature of the investigation at the time. Since then, an extensive probable cause affidavit has been unsealed in Latah County, Idaho, which has alleviated the need for sealing of the return of service here in Washington. Dated January 17th, 2023. Dennis P. Tracy, prosecuting attorney. It is ordered that the return of service of search warrant in this matter is hereby unsealed. And let me get your chat over here so I can see your guys' chat. Thank you, Good Vibes. We'll be doing one here in a little bit because I'm sure I'm going to have a question for you all when it comes to these. Oh, you know how it is when I read this stuff. You know how it is. Little things pop out, and I'm like, huh. All right, so this is basically what we read a second ago. All right, basis. The Washington State Constitution recognizes that victims of crimes have rights and states that effective law enforcement depends on cooperation from victims of crime. Washington Constitution, Article 135, the Washington State Legislature has recognized that there is a severe and detrimental impact on crime victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crime, and, quote, yet there is, unquote, the civic and moral duty of victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crimes to fully and voluntarily cooperate with law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies. RCW 7.69.010. In a criminal proceeding, the law requires that a responsible effort is made to ensure that, quote, victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crimes, unquote, have the right to receive protection from harm and threats of harm arising out of cooperation with law enforcement and prosecution efforts. RCW 7.69.030. Washington courts have long acknowledged that a victim's initials can be substituted for their name. See State v. Mansour, 14wn.app.2D3232020. The basis for this motion is that there are two surviving victims, witnesses of now notorious and much publicized crime in Moscow, Idaho, whose full names are listed in this search warrant and search warrant application. These warrants were issued and served in Washington state because the suspect in the crimes resided and worked here during the time of the crime. These warrants and associated applications were sealed due to the sensitive nature of the investigation at the time. Since then, an extensive probable cause affidavit has been unsealed in Latah County, Idaho, which has alleviated much of the need for sealing here in Washington. But the documents filed in Latah County have not disclosed the surviving victims' names, only their initials. These victims should have the level of protection that can be provided by having their initials substituted for their full names in the search warrant and search warrant applications, which become publicly available from this court. The state is asking the court to consider the usual factors, one, showing of the need for sealing the records and where the need is based on a right other than an accused's rights to a fair trial, a serious and imminent threat to that right. Two, anyone present when motion is made must be given an opportunity to object to closure. And yes. Three, the proposed method for curtailing open access must be the least restrictive means available for protecting the threatened interests. Four, the court must weigh the competing interest of the proponent of closure and the public. And five, the order must be no broader in its application or duration than necessary to serve its purpose. This is very well written. I just have to say that out of all the court documents that we read, this is well written. The state contends that the need to protect victim identification is important to their safety, health, and well-being, and that the victims' and witnesses' rights should be protected vigorously, just as the legislature and the state's founders intended. The proposed method is to file a complete search warrant and application for warrant with only the surviving victims' names redacted and replaced with initials. This is very minor closure of a court document in order to protect a very important victim interest. Finally, the order will be no broader in application than necessary to serve its purpose, and the public will still have the pertinent information at its disposal in order to understand the proceedings of the court. This is very well read, or well written. It seems very transparent, well written, about being about the truth, having people be able to understand the facts of the. I mean, this right here, I am very impressed. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. Dennis P. Tracy, prosecuting attorney. See, I don't talk shit about everybody. I don't. I talk shit about the bullshit. I don't talk shit about something that is exactly what it should be right here. So far, page 5 out of 49. Very well written. It is ordered that the search warrant and application for search warrant already filed in this matter shall remain sealed, but the state shall immediately file redacted versions of those documents with the surviving victims' names redacted and replaced with initials. Because if you read this, they're about the right path. You know what I mean? It's about the victims. It's about the respect. It's about the families. I mean, this is very well written. Shout out Dennis P. Tracy, prosecuting attorney. I don't listen. I'm just going off a document. I don't know. I never researched this. You know what I mean? I'm just going off a document. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? As of right now, Dennis P. Tracy, yes, Whitman County prosecutor. 100. All right, so it says, to any peace officer in the state of Washington, upon the sworn complaint made before me, this was redacted. There is probable cause to believe that the crimes of the crime in the first degree and the burglary per Idaho code has been committed in Idaho, and that evidence of those crimes or contraband, the fruits of crime, or things otherwise criminally possessed, or weapons or other things by means of which a crime has been committed or reasonably appears about to be committed is concealed in or on certain premises. Well, of course, right? Let's be clear. I want everybody to understand this as we read this document, okay? Already respectful from the very get-go, okay? We've read that. Already respectful from the very get-go. What we all have to understand as we continue to read this when it comes to the evidence and the reasons why and all of this other stuff, they are going off of the PCA from MPD, okay? So these guys, just like we were, we totally trust, you totally trust, especially these officers right here are totally trusting that the PCA is 100% clad, because that's what they're supposed to. 100% clad, they believe in that this MPD PCA. So that's why you're going to see some of this stuff that's put in there about this right here. They're going off the other PCA, okay? I'm totally Whitman County, Dennis P. Tracy, shout out. I'm not going to listen. I was bamboozled too, and I'm not even part of, I'm not part of, I was bamboozled too. In making this determination, this court did not consider the information in the supplemental disclosure DNA test as evidence supporting the existence of probable cause. This court also does not consider the information in that supplemental disclosure to be exculpatory. Again, they're going off of the PCA from MPD, okay? You are commanded to 1. Search within 10 days of this date the premises described as follows: apartment located 1630 Northeast Valley, yada yada, Pullman. 1630 is a 3-story multiple occupancy apartment building in Pullman, Washington, which is tan and white in color. Apartment yada yada is located on the northeast corner of the second story of this building, located on the east side of the second story landing, and is designated by the numbers yada yada on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door on the outside of the main door to the residence. 2. Seized if located evidence of the above listed crimes, including 1. Red stuff or other fluid or tissue cells, red stuff, fluid, tissue cells on items. Number 2. Knives, sheaths, and other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, and any written indication of ownership of same, including sales receipts. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format which shows Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF and or DM and or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, or the surrounding neighborhood. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out today. Sorry, I'm still running on this hot spot. We still got another hour or so before internet's supposed to be back up. And we'll see what happens after that. I'm not trusting it until like another hour or two after it's supposed to be fixed. We'll see. Need my coffee too. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way to help me. Gets it in that algorithm. Number 4, clothing including but not limited to dark shirts, dark pants, mask, shoes with diamond patterned sole. Right? They're going off the PCA, okay? Trace evidence including DNA from blood or skin cells or other source, footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human or animal/dog. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or other format, showing an interest or planning of the crime, assault, yada, 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 and data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and or information about the victims or the surviving victims, and data compilation showing the location of Brian Kohberger or the cell phone number 8458 on November 13th, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets, as an example, but not intended to be exclusive list of data compilations being sought. ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contacts lists, diaries, tapes, photograph, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drive, CD, DVD, thumb drive, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain. Damn. All right. They make you breathe on this one. Shit, you got to have like that singing lung, like you get evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor or user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, assessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims or surviving victims, information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates together with their metadata and EXIF tag. This is crazy. I'm gonna feel like I did a nice workout after the show's over. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the evidence, or about any times that items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. We are on page 9 of 49. And again, if you would like to have, Bautismo does drop the document drop for Idaho4 here and there. But if you want it right there, there you go. You can download. You can go to the document drop for the show. You don't even have to be a member. You can just be a sub, whatever. Go there, get the document for yourself. It's about community. It's about sharing. Thank you, Yoli. I appreciate you for this document as well. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or users' names to operate any such device. Indication of residence in ownership or possession of the premises and any of the above items, including mail, receipts, identification, bills, rental agreements, license documents, and other personal property whose owner possessor may be readily determined. Damn, I need to start rapping. Assistance from any law enforcement agencies from the state of Idaho or the federal government, or any technical specialists associated with or employed by or contracted with such law enforcement agencies, including but not limited to the Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, FBI, Idaho State Police Forensic Services is authorized. Assistance from a technical specialist is also authorized to review any digital devices and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that the warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such device. Promptly return this warrant to me or the clerk of this court. The return must include an inventory of all property seized. A copy of the warrant and receipt for the property taken shall be given to the person from whom or from whose premises property is taken. If no person is found in possession, a copy and receipt shall be conspicuously posted at the place where the property is found, dated 12/29/2022 at 9:25 p.m. Superior Court Judge Gary. Yeah, Gary something. Discord. I'll. That shit's confusing to me. So I'll try and see what's up. I'm not sure. Your guess is as good as mine. Shoot me a DM. Let me see here. Declaration. I, Don Daniels, Assistant Chief, WSU Police Department, declare that I have personal knowledge of the matters hereon and or relying on witness statements, information provided by my fellow officers, including fellow officers from the state of Idaho, reports, and other material I have gathered in my investigation, and that I am competent to testify to the matters stated hereon. You all know her, Dawn Daniels. On the basis of the following, I believe there is probable cause that Brian Kohberger has committed the crimes of first-degree unaliving, Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004, and burglary, Idaho Code 18-1401, 1403 in Moscow, Idaho, and that evidence of those crimes, weapons, or other things by means of which a crime has been committed or reasonably appears about to be committed is located in, on, at, or about the following described premises, vehicle, or person. Apartment located at Pullman, Washington is a 3-story. We read that before. I am a police officer at Washington State University Police Department and have been so employed since July 20th, 1998. We're on page 11 of 49, everybody. I attended and successfully completed the 440-hour Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission's Basic Law Enforcement Academy. While at the academy, I completed courses in criminal law, criminal procedures, and other investigative courses. Since the academy, I have continued my education in various law enforcement-related fields, including officer-involved shooting, evidence collection, and threat assessment. I have investigated and assisted in the service of over 50 search warrants. Persons providing information. Moscow, Idaho Police Officer Sergeant Dustin Blaker. Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement is attached hereto is Exhibit A and is hereby incorporated in this application for search warrant. Sergeant Blaker identifies his experience and training in his statement. Other officers and witnesses are identified in Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement. The investigation. And thank you all for being here. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's the free way to help. Page 11 of 49. The investigation. I was contacted by Moscow police officers and asked to assist their investigation into the recent crime of 4 people unalived in Moscow, Idaho. Sergeant Blaker of the Moscow Police Department has developed probable cause to believe that a resident of Whitman County, Brian Kohberger, committed the crime and burglary. I agree with Sergeant Blaker's statement that there is probable cause to believe that Kohberger committed the crime and that there is probable cause to believe that the evidence of those crimes will be located in Kohberger's apartment. What was located in Kohberger's apartment? All these months later. Boom, right? Nothing. I am seeking this search warrant to search that apartment. The probable causes described in detail in the attached Exhibit A sworn statement of Sergeant Blaker, where is hereby incorporated herein by this reference, just as to fully set forth here, based on all the foregoing information, I believe that the evidence of the above listed crimes exists at the above described location, and that there's probable cause to search that location for evidence of the above listed crimes, including, yes, yes, Lulu, blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin or other items with the fluid or tissue skin on the items. We've read this before as well. Knife, sheaths, other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, or any written indication of ownership of same, including sales receipts. Any images, whether digital or on paper. Clothing included, but not limited to. Trace evidence, including DNA, skin cells, source, footprints, fingerprints, hair, human or dog. Data compilations showing any kind of interest or connection to the crime or the victims to the crime. Electronic data. Evidence of other accounts through social media or media. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches. Information that can be used to calculate location, GPS, cell phone data. Evidence that identifies the person in possession of any of the devices for the crime. Any passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and other user names to operate any device. Indication of residence in or ownership of possession of the premises and any of the above items, including mail receipts, identification bills, rental agreements, licensing documents, and other personal property whose owner possessor may be readily determined. How'd you get kicked out? Page 14. In addition, I am asking the court to authorize, in the service of the search warrant, the use of assistance from any law enforcement agencies from the state of Idaho or the federal government, or any technical specialist associated with or employed by or contracted with such law enforcement agencies, including but not limited to the Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, FBI, Idaho State Police Forensic Services. 503. I'm also asking for authorization of assistance from a technical specialist to review any digital devices and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that the warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such evidence. Supplemental disclosure regarding the DNA test. I've been informed by Detective J.R. Talbot of the Idaho State Police that on November 13th, 2022, a sheath was recovered at the King Road residence under or next, because, hello, it was stated two different ways. Under or next to the body of Miss Mogan. The Idaho State Crime Lab obtained a male DNA suspect profile from the sheath. This is also referred to in Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement, Exhibit A. Right, Lulu? Under or next? Not good. Number 2, on December 27th, 2022, law enforcement officers in Pennsylvania recovered trash that originated from the Kohberger family residence. That trash was sent to the Idaho State Crime Lab for testing. On December 28th, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile was obtained from the trash. It was compared to the suspect DNA profile. The lab personnel concluded that the source of the trash DNA profile was a male and was not being excluded as the biological father of the source of the suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the biological father of the source of the suspect profile. Again, everybody, they're going off of the PCA from Payne. You have to trust. They're coming from a position where they're like, we have to trust that it's real. We have to. Totally understand. Shout out Whitman County. Shout out Whitman County. This information is being provided to the court pursuant to my duty and obligation to be fully candid with the court. I do not believe this information is exculpatory for the suspect because they're reading their PCA. Oh my gosh, the car was here. Even though some of them are probably like, man, this sounds fishy as fuck. We got to trust it. I do not believe this information is exculpatory for the suspect. However, if the court believes it is exculpatory, then the court should consider this supplemental disclosure in its evaluation of the existence of probable cause or lack thereof. So they're basically saying right here, look, if the PCA is legit, here is the evaluation of why there was a probable cause for his residence. It's also saying if it's not, then this shows where, and it's true. They're just going off. And that's why I started the document saying that, because it's important. They know it's important. I know it's important. They said it in their own words right there. But I am specifically asking the court to not consider this supplemental disclosure as evidence supporting the existence of probable cause. The reason for this request is that if the DNA test results are held inadmissible at some point, such a ruling would not impact the finding of probable cause for this warrant so long as the court is satisfied as to probable cause regardless of the DNA test result. I'm telling you right now, Washington State, Whitman County, this is how you do it. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that the foregoing is true and correct. Don Daniels. Signed December 29th, 2022. So this is Exhibit A, okay? We're going to be getting into this now. Exhibit A, Part 17 of 49. Exhibit A, Statement of Dustin Blaker. The below information is provided by Sergeant Dustin Blaker. I am a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Latah, State of Idaho. I am employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of sergeant, and I have been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 22 years. I attended the Idaho Peace Officers Academy from January 2000 to March of 2000, and then completed a 16-week field training program where I was released in July of 2000. During my 16 years of law enforcement, I have attended additional training to include basic narcotics training, which trained me in handling of high-level cases. I have conducted many search warrants, and I have assisted with previous homicide investigations while at the Moscow Police Department. I am being assisted by other officers of the Moscow Police Department, members of the Idaho State Police, and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Corporal Brett Payne and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Why 4 o'clock? to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. OFC Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor on the north side of the building. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor, and then OFC Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernoodle's hereafter Kernoodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door in the south wall of the hideaway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernoodle's, laying on the floor. Kernoodle was deceased with wounds that appeared to be caused by an edged weapon. All of this is in the PCA, okay? Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin. Hereafter, Chapin was also deceased with wounds later to be determined. Autopsy report provided by Spokane County Medical Examiner Vina Singh, dated December 15th, 2022, to be caused by sharp force injuries. Yes, it didn't show up until right. It would be 12. It'd be 12 hours after it took place, according to their timeline. But still, the call to 911's not made for 8 hours, and then the call from 911 to the MPD is another 4. Yeah. And I'm going to drop my PCA. I'm going to drop a PCA read through. Here's the old one that I did from before. Let's see, where did I put it? So this is the PCA read through January 5th. So I'm going to refer you to this right now because I'm not going to read that as well. You can click on that. There's a timestamp where I read the read through from back on January 5th. I'm going to be doing a highlight today after this show's over, before tonight's show. And I'm going to be re-editing a newer PCA read through that we did the other night. And I will have this available as well. They'll be both coming out about the same time in between the shows tonight, so look for that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead here. You can click on that link if you're in replay. You can click on the link in chat. The link in chat is there, and it's in the description, and it has the timestamp of it. So all this is in the PCA with Brett Payne, stating all the stuff, all the pictures that we saw. It's even worse on this one, actually, but it's just a copy. All right, so now we're going to get to page. Let's see here. We're still going through it. And I'll end up just clipping this part out of the highlight. And just refer. Okay, data compilations. Okay, that's 12/29/2022. All right. So here's all the stuff that we've seen before too, right? This is all the items. All the item seized. If you want to watch the stuff that was in the PCA that they have in these documents, then you can watch my read through of that. Now this one, we've all seen this before. These are the items seized. Here's the link for that. January 5th, live reaction. Now, these are the items that we all know that these were received, right? Glove, Walmart receipt, Dickies tag, Marshall receipts, dust container, vacuum, hair strains, fire, TV stick, hair strand, possible hair, possible hair, possible hair, possible hair strand. Why does it start off? I don't know. One computer tower, collection of dark red spot collected without testing. Okay. Why? B, 2 cuttings from uncased pillow, reddish brown stain, larger stain tested, 2 top and bottom, a mattress overpacked separately, both labeled C, multiple stains, 1 twist. I mean, nosebleed maybe. And that's the documents.